Yeah, me and Amy have come back to make another video now. I know this might be quite hard for a lot of people because if you're a nice person, you wouldn't think of ever doing these things to another person. So those people might find it really hard. Yes, Amy? Amy, say hello, Amy.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Karen. Yes, it's really hard to fathom how they can do this because most people just aren't like that.
So what we're going to
honest.
try and explain today is that the Tsar of Russia became the King of England, and he was also Hitler. So now I'll put the video on, yeah? And
Yes.
so basically, the Tsar of Russia and the King of England were born very close together in their timing, aren't they? They're like a year apart or something like that.
Yeah.
Like one's 62, 1862 or 63 or whatever it is. Sorry, I'm actually showing the imperial crown of Russia at the moment. That thing has such an importance, that crown. But anyway, he became king in the late 1800s. He actually was gone by 1917. At the same time, that's roughly the same time he becomes King of England.
Yes.
And then I did do a video with Mickey to explain. Amy, explain what your daughter about that Watts case. Explain what your daughter said, because that's the bit, and I'd never thought about that. But what did your daughter say about? So Shanann Watts' case happened in 2018. But what did your daughter say?
Well, she could tell by their clothes and their hairstyles that it was the wrong era. She said to me, "This isn't." We were watching the movie together, and she said these clothes and everything are outdated. So she could tell it was like maybe early 2000s or even maybe the 90s or something. So she said that was what struck her, was that the clothes weren't modern. The clothes weren't what they should have been. They were older style, and they dressed them in the movie just like they did in all the videos. They were pretty consistent with that. So that's what she noticed.
And we'd never thought of that, had we, Amy? That we were watching videos that were made. It could have been 10 years before, but we also saw those characters being other people. We don't really want to go into that, but
yeah,
they were playing other people. One was death row and put to death and all that. So it's quite incredible that would happen. That was Anyway, we don't want to go too much into that because, well, anyway, yeah, what a case that was. But it was the filming of it before. So this is what they did with Hitler. I'm not saying he was the only Hitler, because obviously we've seen videos where Bing Crosby and other people were playing him. But it was the Tsar of Russia. He was the King of England. He was Edward VII, wasn't he?
Yes. Was it Edward VII or King or George V?
That's it, George V.
Yeah.
Which we get the right king. Yeah, George V. So sorry about that. He became George V, King of England, in 1911. And then he was murdered as the Tsar in 1919. And then sometime after that, just a little time after that, they made the videos where he was Hitler, but they didn't use them at that time. So maybe they were getting them ready for the First World War, but they didn't use them then. They used them for the Second World War. And, there is a bit of footage that YouTube maybe take out of the video. If you want to see the whole thing, it's on BitChute. But I said, look at his little tiny tanks. Look at it all. Is this really magnificent? And the size of the things, they would only be able to fire very short distances. So I found all that strange. But that would make sense if it was being filmed from before. What do you say, Amy?
I agree. I think they filmed it before. I think they made the Hitler character, and then they didn't end up using it right away. So they waited until World War II.
Well, he was there in the
Something like that.
1930s, wasn't he?
What's that?
Hitler was there in the 1930s. We did the bit with
Yes.
the Olympics and that. So
Yeah.
it was made maybe 10 or 15 years before that.
Right.
Yeah, and that's what this video is about. I just think that the Tsar was the King of England and also Hitler.
Yes.
I've done the video showing how much they look alike. Just it's quite unbelievable, really, isn't it, Amy?
It is. They look so much alike. They really do. King George and the Tsar.
Yeah, so alike they are.
Yeah,
They are the same person.
Yeah, I think they say they're cousins, but I don't think cousins would look that much alike.
No. And now the whole story of the Tsar has changed. I am quite shocked that his wife and that, they gave us the stories. I'm not saying it's right, but it's just that the whole family was murdered. But now we learn that she didn't die, the children and her didn't die on that day, that they died maybe a few days later. And then the really other strange thing is that she isn't buried with her children. She's buried in Israel, in a Roman church there. I'm sorry,
Yes.
a Russian Orthodox church. Sorry, I'm a bit tired. A Russian Orthodox church in Israel, but it wasn't called Israel then. It was before we took over, and then it became Israel. And that's where Prince Philip's mum is buried, with her. So that's all bananas.
It is bananas, yes.
But so what they're doing just to us today, they were doing then.
Exactly.
It was probably easier to do it. It was easier to do it to us then because we only had newspapers, supposedly.
Right.
What's your thoughts on it, Amy?
I just think it's all so crazy and deceptive, and it just makes me feel like I don't even know what our history really is, because we learn all that stuff in school. They take great pains to teach us about World War I and then World War II, and then you find out that it's all been manufactured. So it kind of blows my mind that they would do these things, and it just makes you doubt everything.
Well, we have I know we haven't actually met each other, but our friendship is based on honesty and friendship, and so we wouldn't do this to each other. We would never treat or talk to each other like this.
Oh, that's right. And I think most people are like that they don't want to deceive or be deceived.
And I know that some people might say, oh, they're insane or something, but we might not be quite right, but I'm sorry, that's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, we're on the right track anyway.
Totally covering up our history, and I've said it even in a couple of other videos today. There's no such thing as the League of Gentlemen, but there was a time where people like that, where they were more magnificent, rich, elegant, houses, the whole thing. It was different then.
Yes. Yes, it was.
Yeah, I'm a bit. I kind of got into the Tsar for a bit and felt quite sorry, and then you start realising other things, and then you realise that everything you've been told is a lie.
I know. It's very disconcerting.
I felt his wife and the whole
Me
thing.
too.
Now, we can't it out or work it out because that time has gone.
Exactly. So I don't know that we'll ever really know the truth.
I have noticed of Russia time, that sometimes when the soldiers line up, not maybe this footage, but other footage, that there are very tall soldiers in it as well. They're about at least a head or a head and a half taller than the others. So they don't mention them either, that he had, well, I suppose you call those giants.
Yes, it sounds like it.
It's amazing that they make this whole life for them. And, you know, like, he didn't quite want to be part of Rome and that part of the empire. That's why he was making the Russian Orthodox churches. And they said that he used to put a lot of the cornerstones in the churches. He'd actually help make the church because he didn't want to be part. So that fits in why maybe there was a revolution in the whole thing, but it doesn't, because it's all part of something else, isn't it?
That's right.
It's all just one big lie.
Yeah, and I don't know why they have to lie like that. We just don't see how things really are, because they just lie about everything.
It's so hard to piece it together. I mean, we're looking at a video, and people who are only inches away are half the size of the people that they're filming. I just think the whole lot of this is just made for us, and we just didn't realise. You know, once they could get it on a big screen, they've got you, because you're going to believe, look, there's the news. You're believing what these people are telling you.
Oh, I know. Everybody, you know, trusts, or not everybody, but a lot of people trust the news. That's their first thing they go to. And they go to mainstream news, and they only believe it if they see it in the mainstream news. But that's right where they don't tell the truth. That's where it's all made up. But so many people follow it. And they did back then too. They listened to it, and, you know, they thought it was true.
Yeah. Well, whatever happened to us, because something did happen to change things, I haven't found anybody's relatives or anything like that talking about it. Anyway, this is now the King of England. So he's a little bit older here, and not long after this was when they're making the Hitler videos.
Yeah, yes.
It sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? But of course, you know, they bopped him off like the king was bopped off. The king was bopped off when he went when he was 70. That's what they said. That's what they say in history. So this is why we're saying that it was filmed before, because when you look at the birth dates of him and Hitler, he is the Tsar, or the King of England. He would be about 15 years older than 20 years older than Hitler. So this is why the videos were filmed earlier, and you just believe the history they've told you.
Right.
You know, I've watched, I even put it out on one of the videos where this guy goes in, he says, they take 10-15 minutes of you, and that was it. That what it basically is from taking this 10-15 minutes of video of you, is that they can make a career out of you from those 15 minutes. They can put you in the films because they've got you.
I know.
You know you've got apps that can tweak your face, can make your face longer, make you look older, make you look younger. If they can do all that just with an app, and you can do it on your phone, imagine what they've got.
Oh, I know.
And do you know who I reckon? I reckon that NASA made all the films. NASA made all the films.
Oh, that's a good point. Probably so.
We know they don't do the other things, so that's they get, what is it, $57 million a day?
Yeah, I believe so.
Amazing if they use that money to sort out that River Mead in America.
Yes.
A couple of days of that money, and they could sort out that river for people that it's affecting today.
That's right.
That video is or will be out on Sun and Moon, Lake Mead. But yeah, you know, like when you look at all these things, you think, oh, I can see him, and you know, it's all just been put together as a story for you. It's all a story.
I know. Yeah, I just looked it up. It says that NASA gets 22. They got $22.6 billion in 2020, and it represents 0.48% of the 4.7 trillion that the United States plans to spend in the fiscal year. Since its inception, the United States has spent nearly $650 billion on it. So that's a lot of money that they could do other
Yeah,
things
they're doing all
with.
the filming.
Yes,
They're putting all the videos together.
right.
Well, that's what I think, anyway.
I think so too.
Yeah, but not telling us what's really going on either, that they're still part of the Roman Empire and all that.
Oh, I know.
I just find it really strange where they, you know, we know that Hitler was flying double eagles as well, so he was a Roman emperor, just like Putin is. So,
Right.
and to us, they're the baddies now.
Exactly.
Mm. Oh, and this is the king that changed the name to Windsor.
Oh, okay.
Because what it was is they had a German surname. The whatever it was, the Guffen, whatever it was a double-barreled German name, and he got it changed. I think he's also the king that said that the siblings don't have to marry princes anymore. They could marry out of family. Obviously, to interbred, so they needed new blood or something. I don't know.
Oh, yes, it sounds like that. Yeah, they changed it from the German Saxe, Coburg, and Gotha
That's it. To Windsor.
To the English Windsor, yes, because of anti-German sentiment in the United Kingdom during the First World War.
Yeah. Well, there you go then, and that's strange in itself, isn't it? Because nobody talks about them changing their. No one like. There's nothing like your. Well, I remember when they used to have a German name. Even if it comes through your family, surely a couple of families would have this in their history, but no one has this in their history. But they changed their name.
Yeah, that's right.
This is the bit. So basically, Charles could then marry Diana.
Oh, that's right.
Oh yes, and he also was anaesthetised. They're basically saying he was murdered.
Yes, that's right.
You know, basically he was anaesthetised to death.
Yes.
They told him that he was going to go and stay somewhere, and he was going like Bognor Regis or something. He said, "No, I don't want to go there." And the doctor injected him with something, and he never woke up.
Oh, I know.
But he would have to have a drastic end, wouldn't he? Because he would. He's got to play Hitler now, hasn't he?
Yeah, that's right.
Anyway, we are coming to the end of this video. In fact, it is the end. Oh, nearly the end. Oh, no, we've got... This is my bit where I do the overlay of Hitler and the Tsar, which, you know, you remember the Tsar is younger, but the eyes and everything are the same. The way that they hold their brow, like one of their eyes is... They just look very similar. It's just makeup and...
They do.
You know, they were pretty good at CGI then, in those days.
They were.
Anything else to say, Amy? Because the video's coming to an end now.
Oh, I just think it's mind-blowing. But you have a good eye to see these things here and explore them. It's just madness.
What, you mean like John Travolta is Val Kilmer?
Oh, I know. That blew my mind.
They're so alike, aren't they? But that doesn't mean he's the only John Travolta. There's obviously a few of them, but he plays one of them.
Right.
Oh, it's sickening, isn't it? It's madness. But the video's coming to an end. The last word with you, Amy.
Oh, well, I'm just glad. It's really horrible to learn about and to find out we've been lied to, but I'm glad that you're pointing out these lies, because we have to bring the lies into the light so people can see it.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you so much, my darling.
You're welcome, Karen.
Thank you, Amy.
You're welcome, Karen.